Everyone, welcome back to the Fan Talk podcast. My name is Kyle Brenchley, the host here. I am here to talk about sports and have a good time doing it. Fan Talk is this podcast I just started a couple months ago to have some fun, to talk about sports, to have a good time. So, thank you so much for tuning in. You can listen to Fan Talk on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, on YouTube as well by searching Kyle Brenchley Fan Talk. It should pull up. Obviously, I video all of these. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of fun to video all of them. I like doing that. So, give me a look up. Check me out. I have a couple episodes out already. If this is your first time here. If not, then welcome back. We have some great things to talk about today. This episode, I'm going to talk about the NBA a little more, as well as talking about the NFL playoffs as it is continuing to happen. So now that we have kind of gone into the new year, Happy New Year 2023. If you guys have goals, if you guys have things you want to accomplish, not a better time to start than today. They say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is to plant it today. So 2023, we got a new year. NFL season's wrapping up. NBA season's in full swing. We're getting close to the All-Star Game. Now, the All-Star Game is going to be in Salt Lake City, Utah. That will be super awesome here in February. So now it is time to vote for your NBA All-Star. Voting is open now. You can do it one of two ways. You can download the NBA app and do it there, and you vote for 5 people on the Western Conference and 5 from the Eastern Conference, or you can do it on NBA.com as well. You can just search NBA All-Star Voting and submit those picks. Today, special promo, maybe not a promo, but special thing, all of your votes count triple today. And you might be wondering, how do the votes work for the NBA All-Star Game? Let me tell you. So fan votes account for 50% to determine the starters. So I should mention that. You're voting for the starters, essentially. And so your vote counts for 50% of the total vote. 25% of the vote goes to actual NBA players, and 25% goes to a media panel. And together that makes 100%. So voting will conclude tomorrow, so go do it now. NBA app, NBA.com. Go check it out. I want to talk about some of the current leaders. Maybe you guys have seen this. If not, surprisingly, LeBron James, I wouldn't say surprisingly in the past, but now that LeBron James is super close to 40 and, kind of nearing the end of his career, he's kind of going downhill, but he is still leading all votes. All votes, both Western and Eastern Conference. LeBron James has that title. Of course, he's on top of the West. And then Milwaukee Bucks forward Giannis Antetokounmpo is leading in the East. Other notable people up top, Kevin Durant is up there, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, Kyrie Irving's kind of surprising, he's up there as well, and then Donovan Mitchell is up there in the Eastern Conference. Western Conference, LeBron has the first spot, Nikola Jokic has the second spot, Anthony Davis third, Zion Williamson fourth, Stephen Curry and Luka Doncic are up there as well. So you can vote for literally anyone you want. Go onto the NBA app, go on to NBA.com, and go vote now. NBA All-Star Game, again, is in Salt Lake City, Utah, here in February. So that will be really fun to see that, especially if Donovan Mitchell makes the team. He obviously will, but if he's a starter coming back to Utah, that's always fun. He came back to Utah a couple weeks ago and had an awesome game against the Jazz. The Jazz did pull it out and win. But very exciting times for the NBA. Let's talk a little bit of power rankings. When I do these podcasts, I like to look at standings. I like to look at power rankings. I like to just kind of see where teams are and to discuss my thoughts on it. Really, I'm just a fan who's really interested in this. And something I'm really interested in is the Boston Celtics. They've been pretty good for the last couple years. Jason Tatum obviously has helped them get to where they are today. Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, these role players, and Al Horford and Derek White, some good players there. They have the current best record in the NBA, 33-12. They're number one in ESPN's power rankings for good reason. They went to the NBA Finals last year, came up short against the Warriors, but they're just playing really well right now. Jason Tatum's clearly going to be an all-star, potentially a starting All-Star. And, the Celtics are the team to beat right now. They had an exciting game against the Warriors the other day. Super fun to watch. I didn't watch it live. I watched highlights. But the Celtics look good. They look really good. Surprise, and when I say surprise, the last couple years, this team has been plagued by injuries and just being in a tough conference. So I wouldn't be surprised. I shouldn't be surprised, but I just haven't seen it with my own eyes. And now that I am witnessing it, I can say that I'm surprised. Number 2, Denver Nuggets. They're having a really good year this year, 31-13. Currently number 2. Of course, Nikola Jokic is, making a case for his 3rd consecutive MVP. This guy pretty much averages a triple-double every night. He's a big man. He can score any court or any side of the field, wherever he is. He's a powerhouse. Of course, Jamal Murray's back. Aaron Gordon, some other good players there on the team as well. Number 3, Memphis Grizzlies. They're a good team. Last year they showed us that. They got some good players. Ja Morant is an animal. He's crazy. He's a good player. Number 4, Milwaukee Bucks. Whenever Giannis Antetokounmpo is on a team, that team's going to be good. And the Bucks are going to be good for years because Antetokounmpo is not leaving Milwaukee anytime soon. And then the Brooklyn Nets have kind of made a resurgence. Ben Simmons is actually playing. Kevin Durant's there. Kyrie Irving, obviously Kevin Durant's injured and might miss a couple weeks. But they've kind of found their rhythm and have a really good record there in the East, 27-16, currently at the 5 seed. I'll just go to 10, and we'll stop there. Obviously, I don't need to go through all 30 teams. But number 6, the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid, James Harden. This is a good team, and they could really pose a threat here in the East. Another team that could pose a threat is number 7, Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell came over in that trade with Utah. He's still got Darius Garland, Kevin Love, Larry Nance Jr. This is a good Cleveland Cavaliers team. Look for them to get that 4 or 5 spot in the East if they play their cards right. Miami Heat, they're another team in the East that are performing really well. Jimmy Butler, of course, is trying to do all he can before he gets too old. They're currently 24-21 with the 8th spot. Now, this one is probably the most surprising, and it actually is surprising because this team hasn't made the postseason since 2004, I believe. I could be wrong on that stat. Early 2000s was the last time they made the postseason, and that is the Sacramento Kings. Sabonis, that guy is quietly going under the radar. A lot of people say he should be receiving more All-Star votes. The problem is a lot of fans don't know about him unless they're Indiana Pacer or Sacramento Kings fans, which not a lot of people are. So they're having a really good season. They're doing great, 24-18, currently in the playoff spot if the playoffs started today. Dallas Mavericks are rounding out at 10. The Mavericks, good team, good solid team. Christian Wood might miss a couple games, but Luka Doncic, that guy, he's so reliable. You can trust him in any situation, and he'll get you out of it. So that's the top 10 NBA Power Rankings. Obviously, these are updated weekly, and you can check that out on ESPN or NBA.com or CBS Sports, whatever news outlet for sports that you tune into. And yeah, the NBA season's getting real good. I think it's interesting to watch LeBron James this season because he's currently chasing Kareem's regular season record in points. LeBron's on track to catch up to that. So keep an eye on him and the Lakers. Obviously, the media will always keep an eye on the Lakers no matter if they're good or not. But keep an eye on that as we move forward. Okay, so in the NFL, jump into the NFL. I like talking about the NFL, of course. If anyone's tuned into this show, they know I like talking about the NFL. So jumping to the NFL, last weekend we had Wild Card Weekend, and we had some wild games. I tried to watch as many as I could, and the ones I did get to watch were crazy. Let's start with Jacksonville Jaguars at home, Los Angeles Chargers at Jaguars. This first half of this, it's a tale of two halves, and a lot of games are like that. The Chargers went up 27-0. Trevor Lawrence throws 4 first half interceptions, I'm trying to remember the last time someone threw 4 interceptions in a game. I think Zach Wilson did it his rookie year. I think Nathan Peterman did it when he was like filling in as a backup a couple years ago. I think he actually threw 5 or 6 interceptions in that game. Something crazy, something stupid dumb. But 4 interceptions in the first half. The chances of you winning a game where your quarterback throws 4 interceptions and you're down 27-0. Well, I should say that the Jaguars did score right before halftime, so it was 27-7. But 27-0 to start out the game, you're not coming back from that. I don't care who you are, you're not coming back from that. Unless you're Trevor Lawrence and you literally change everything about your game in the first half to the second half. Your defense, it was holding strong. They step up and you pull off a crazy victory. Game-winning field goal by Matthew Wright, who it looked like it was gonna move out. It was gonna miss, but it tucked in there. The Jaguars win 33-30, and the Chargers are just left dumbfounded. Brandon Staley, his job's in serious question. And yeah, crazy game. I love watching that game. The Jaguars are kind of who I'm rooting for in the AFC. Obviously, the Broncos did not quite make it, and I like rooting for an underdog. Correction on the score, Jacksonville 31, Los Angeles Chargers 30. Another fun and exciting game, Bills and Dolphins. Dolphins are walking in there with Skylar Thompson as their quarterback, and the Bills barely get by. Wow, crazy. I don't know. Should we be more concerned for Buffalo, or should we be more impressed with Miami? I think we should be more impressed with Miami because they had Skylar Thompson, third-string guy, go in there. He didn't particularly play super well, but he played 4 quarters. He gave it all he had, and he gave Buffalo a run for their money. I think it's the NFL. I think games are close. I think, honestly, Miami would have put up a fight against any team in that playoffs. That's just who they are. And Buffalo, I think Buffalo will be okay. They were sloppy. Games happen like that. They're lucky they had Miami and they didn't have like a Kansas City or a Cincinnati or even a Philadelphia or Minnesota. So they were lucky there. But the Bills, they got past. They'll be moving on to the next round to play the Bengals. Bengals kind of had an interesting game too against the Ravens. Ravens started Tyler Huntley because Lamar Jackson was still out. Ravens looked like they had it. And then fumbled at the goal line, and obviously Sam Hubbard took it back, 99 yards. Crazy big man touchdown. Cincinnati eventually pulled out 24-17. Baltimore almost had that Hail Mary at the end that worked. So, not great games from Cincinnati or Buffalo. They'll play each other, so one of them will have to get by. But really interesting there. That wraps up the AFC picture. I'll do picks here in a moment. Let me just wrap up here on the NFC, but I have some interesting ideas. 49ers cruise past the Seahawks. I think the 49ers are a very dangerous team. Sam Purdy's really good for who he is as a rookie. Cowboys smacked the Buccaneers. I think the Cowboys really just wanted to win, and Tampa Bay was beat up all year. They may, arguably shouldn't have even been in the playoffs. And then the Giants pull off the upset against the Vikings. A lot of people were picking that, saying that the Giants would do that. Jones is playing very well. The Giants, they look good. They look good. I'd like to see them play good against Philadelphia this week to see if that really is the case, or if the Vikings were just, not as good as we thought they were, but we will see this weekend. So, this weekend, to wrap up, we got the divisional round. Games are on Saturday, games are on Sunday. 8 teams left, only one can get to the Super Bowl championship trophy, holding it up, Lombardi Trophy. So, let's talk about the games. So, the first game is on Saturday tomorrow, 2:30 Mountain Time on NBC. Jacksonville Jaguars are going to Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City Chiefs. This game will be exciting because the Jacksonville Jaguars just proved that they can be down early and they can fight their way back into a game. So look to see Kansas City get out to an early lead. Jacksonville pull their way back in to make it interesting. But ultimately, I hate to say it, I think Patrick Mahomes is too good, and I think Patrick Mahomes is going to get the Chiefs past the Jaguars and get them into the next round. So I think the Chiefs over the Jaguars, although Jaguars, don't count them out. People were counting them out against the Chargers. Don't count them out against the Chiefs. And then the second game on Saturday, the New York Giants at Philadelphia Eagles. This game is interesting because NFC East rivals. Fun fact, all three teams in the NFC East who made the playoffs are still in. So 3 of the 8 teams are from the NFC East. Not too long ago, that division was called the NFC Least. Now look where they are. Things can change. People can change. Teams can change. Things can change. Remember that. New York Giants, this game's in Philadelphia. A lot of people are saying Philadelphia may not be as good as their record dictates. The Giants just came off a huge win. Look for this game to maybe even go into overtime, at least be close in the fourth quarter. I think Philadelphia squeaks this one out by the, very edge of their seats, but New York puts up a fight. And, there's nothing better than a New York-Philadelphia. So give me the Eagles, but it's close. It is very, very close. Cowboys at 49ers. This game is Sunday night on Fox. I think the 49ers win this one. I say that because the Cowboys had their good game in the playoff. They only get one good game in the playoff. You don't see the Cowboys play consistently well multiple games in a row. I think San Francisco wins this one. Brock Purdy, who's going to stop him? Micah Parsons, maybe, but probably not. This game's in San Francisco. They're rolling. Mostly because I think San Francisco comes out of the NFC and goes to the Super Bowl. But I think the Cowboys go down and San Francisco wins this one. And then last game, I did this one a little out of order, but Cincinnati Bengals at Buffalo Bills. This could potentially be the most exciting game of the weekend. I could be wrong. That Buffalo-Miami game, I think people were saying this is going to be the most underwhelming. That arguably was up there. Cincinnati, this game's in Buffalo. I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati won this game. In fact, I'm going to pick Cincinnati to win this game. Give me the Bengals, upset the Bills in Buffalo. Josh Allen goes home, and the Bengals move on to the AFC Championship to play the Kansas City Chiefs. That's what I think. I could see it going the other way as well. This game's on CBS, 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, so go check it out. If I were to say right now, Super Bowl, I'm pretty much saying with that Cincinnati Bengals pick that the Bengals are going back to the Super Bowl. Because in my opinion, ultimately any of these teams in the AFC could really take down Kansas City. Like, don't get me wrong, the Denver Broncos almost beat them twice, But I like the Bengals. I like the Bills. I think the Jaguars could even take them down. But I think the Bengals have the Chiefs' number. I think the Bengals will beat the Chiefs no matter what. I think the Bills can. They ultimately did this season. They could. We'll see what happens. But I like to see the Bengals, maybe Bengals 49ers Super Bowl. I could also see the Chiefs, squeaking their way in there. Chiefs 49ers. Maybe the Eagles find a way to get past the 49ers. But we'll talk about that next week. For now, let's sit back. Let's relax. Let's spend Saturday and Sunday watching the divisional round. We'll see how we do, and we'll see where we end up. I'm excited. NFL playoffs, we're getting close. February is going to be a good month with the Super Bowl, with the NBA All-Star Game. We're getting close to March, as I mentioned, with college basketball. I've been doing some college basketball coverage, actually some color, working with the play-by-play guy. So it's a fun, exciting time for sports. It's a new year, new opportunities for everyone. Let's see what we can do. Thank you guys so much for listening to Fan Talk. Again, this podcast is found on Spotify and iHeartRadio, as well as YouTube. Just search Kyle Brenchley Fan Talk, and you will find it there. All of my links will be in the description of the YouTube video. If you want to check it out, I really appreciate it. Again, thank you guys so much. We will see you guys next week.